5 games in a row as a head coach. And Pat Narduzzi, in his second year at Pittsburgh, he got to 13 victories at Pitt, faster than any of his 6 predecessors. And he's trying to get his first win over Miami here today. Pittsburgh won the toss and deferred. Miami will return the opening kick. And Takia, you alluded to it in the open. Any special teams play, there's a chance for fireworks.
It is big-time plays, big-time players. They make those type of plays in these games.
No return on the opening kick. And Brad Kaya will lead the Hurricane offense out in the field, his 34th career start. And he's got a couple key targets that he'll be looking to downfield.
Tight end David Njoku, he is a guy who can do it all. They talk about splitting him out, playing regular tight end within the box. He can do it all. That's how talented that he is. And the receiver, Coley, he has gotten better from the first start of this season, taking on more responsibility as being a leader, trying to help out Brad Kaya.
How will Miami's offensive line handle Pittsburgh fierce front? Not bad the first trip. It's Walton on the little screen. He gains 5 before he's ushered out of bounds. The Food Line impact players on the Pitt defense. Tyreek Jarrett on the line. Mike Caprera in the linebacking crew.
Yeah, when you look at Tyreek Jarrett, he's going to play an instrumental part in stopping the run as far as what Miami likes to do. And then Caprera, he's an all-around guy who can play run and pass.
On 2nd and 5, Stacy Coley breaks a tackle. And he'll move the chains. First down for the Canes.
We talked about Coley earlier. He understands when he has to get the play on a little screen flip like that, it's all about making one guy miss. He did that. That's the reason why he was able to get positive yards on that catch.
3 receivers out to the right for Kaya, the Southern California kid. They give to Walton, who slithers his way up the middle. Gains 4, brought down by Pittsburgh's Ryan Lewis.
That was a nice tackle by Ryan Lewis, and this is exactly what they want to do. They want to be able to get Mark Walton in those one-on-one type matchups because they believe he can win those.
Didn't win too many matchups at the line of scrimmage against Notre Dame, though. Takia only 18 yards on the ground. Pittsburgh specializes, obviously, in stopping the run. And Kaya looking long. And he's got his man. It's Richards. Down to the 13.
Ahmad Richards, the true freshman. He is a big-time player for this program. We all know that Pitt's defensive backs, they have trouble covering one-on-one down the field. And Mark Richt understands.
We talked to Brad Kaya yesterday and got the sense that he was salivating, licking his chops about the one-on-one matchups he would have to target downfield. His spot on the 14-yard line. It's Walton, and he runs into a wall. And with that last pass for Brad Kaya, he becomes just the 2nd quarterback in the history of the Miami program to cross over 2,000 yards in 3 consecutive seasons. He joins Ken Dorsey in that department.
That's good company.
Brad Kaya has started every game except one since he got to campus. He has been beat up during this October losing streak. He's got an open man. Leaping into the end zone. David Njoku with a touchdown.
We talked about David Njoku being an impact player, and you see exactly why. They had him on the end line of the scrimmage. He came across and ran a drag route, but the athletic ability to be able to jump over, he didn't stick to landing. That's the reason why I cannot give him a 10, but I can give him a 7 for 7 points, or at least 6.
Showing off the athleticism that made him a national champion in the high jump. And he'll stay in the block for the point after. Michael Badgley, 32 of 34 in the season. 7-0 Miami. Only took 2 minutes and 14 seconds to kill. That's what Mark Richt was looking for. The 12-yard pass from Kaya to Njoku.
Do you suffer from irritability, boredom, and chronic cravings?
If they get to third down, it's not third and a mile, meaning 3rd and 10, 3rd and long.
Badgley boots it, and this is returnable for the very electric Quadre Henderson. He's got a couple touchdowns already this year. And Henderson's into the clear. To the 20, to the 10. He's gone.
Wow.
No flags on the field. 100 yards on the return for Quadre Henderson, the slippery sophomore from Delaware.
We talked about it in the open. Both teams have dangerous returnment, but Pitt did a nice job of just sealing everybody back in the inside, and that gave a big lane crease for Quadre to be able to see it and hit it.
He entered the day tied with Memphis's Tony Pollard for the lead in kick return touchdowns. He's now all alone, number 1. Substitution infraction on the extra point against Miami as Henderson does it again. That's his 6th kickoff return of at least 80 yards. Miami fans remember the 89-yarder he had against them last year. And certainly better than the first kickoff return last week when he fumbled it on that Thursday night against Virginia Tech. Chris Blewett ties it up.
What a ball game we're having. You know, you get one team, Miami gets the ball, did not have any negative lost yardage plays, big pass play to Ahman Richards. Now they come back, Pitt receives the ball on the kickoff return and takes it all the way back with the house call.
We're on pace for about 77 to 70, 2.5 minutes in. This Miami Hurricanes team was number 10 in the country as they started 4-0, but things started to unravel. A heartbreaker against the Seminoles, and then another tight loss against the Tar Heels. The 3rd game of that streak in Blacksburg, closer than the final score indicated, but that Virginia Tech defensive Bud Foster was really tough. And last week, despite scoring 27 unanswered points, the late field goal with just 30 seconds to go gave Notre Dame the last-second win.
And these are the type of streaks, these are the type of games that really test how resilient that you are or you could be going through this. And Coach Mark Richt, he understands it. That's the reason why he puts a premium on telling his guys every week, let's continue to play and do the little things right, and hopefully it will turn around for him.
You know, we don't always think about a kicker booting a touchback as a really important play. But this game on kickoffs, not giving the other team a chance to bring it out, that's critical. Well, here comes Malcolm Lewis from the 3. Slithers past the defender, but he's brought down shy of the 25. Brad Kaya retaking the field. He was 4 for 4 on his first drive.
Nice job. He understood what was presented in front of him in understanding with the RPO's run pass option. Throwing the ball out on the little swing, the deep pass to Ahman Richards. And now the touchdown coming to David Njoku. The play calling has been pretty good for the Miami Hurricanes. I'm curious to see if they're going to continue to keep this up. Coach Rick talked about, I script plays, 5-10 plays, but I was curious to see how he will go from this point on out.
Joe Yearby is alongside Kaya, and he'll take it up the middle. Snuck away from Matt Galambos. Gains a couple of yards. The skies have really opened up. Let's go down to Amanda Kuhl on the sidelines.
Thanks, Evan. For a little bit there, we thought the rain started to slow down, and it looked like it was going to clear up a bit, but the rain is continuing to fall, and it's a steady fall. Everyone down here is covering up, but doesn't look like it's affecting the game much.
Well, most of the seats in this stadium are covered with the renovations. A gorgeous facility here in Miami Gardens, but the players playing through the moisture. Kaya down the seams, got a wide open man. It's Njoku crossing midfield, carrying tacklers to the 44. Jordan Whitehead finally brought him down.
That's 6'4", 245 pounds running uncontested down the seam. And when you have players that big who can run like a wide receiver but stature of a tight end, it makes it hard on a defensive secondary, which Pitt has been struggling already.
After that gain of 30, Kaya's 5 for 5 for 99 yards. He'll throw again. Quick shot to the right side, and it's Coley out of bounds. Pittsburgh knew coming into the game that their strength on defense was their front. They've really struggled guarding that pass downfield.
And you know what? Miami knew that as well. That's the reason why every pass play that the Hurricanes have done, it's been very quick. Coach Rick talked about, if my quarterback holds the ball longer than 3 seconds, he's doing something wrong. That's the reason why they're getting it off.
Talked about 2.5 to 3 seconds. Here's another quick pass. It's complete to Coley. Kaya stays sharp. And Coley making it tough on the Pittsburgh defense to finally bring him down. There's a gain of 8. And another first down for Miami.
Stacy Coley has done a good job in this offense, but with him being the senior, he understands I need to provide every opportunity for Brad Kaya, my quarterback, to get me the football. And when I get it, I need to be productive to help this offensive side gain more points.
4 plays, 47 yards so far on the drive. 2 touchdowns in the first 2.5 minutes. If you joined us a few minutes late, you missed a bunch of action as Yerby takes it up the middle, gains just the 1. Yerby a year ago had a really good game against this Pittsburgh team. He mounted up 99 yards on a career-high 22 carries in that win for Miami up in Pittsburgh. It's funny, Takeo, last 2 years, each of these schools have one of the others home field.
That's very weird because home field advantage is big.
Kaya, quick drop. Amon Richards. Another first down. They really like this freshman, Amon Richards.
They love him because he has a lot of things to him, but the thing I want to talk about is that they preach on the offensive side, timing plus spacing equals completion, and that is exactly why he caught the ball right there.
True freshman, rising up the all-time receiving charts among first-year players in a Miami jersey. Couple yards on that snap to the 10.
Miami is doing a good job of when there are pass plays. They know Juan Price. He is a premier pass rush specialist in the ACC and the country. They're not giving him a chance to get started.
Kaya to Richards. He says he caught it. And he did. Ruled down at the 1. Dane Jackson saved the touchdown. What a catch by Richards.
It looks as if he caught it one-handed.
And his elbow hits the pylon. That is really close. Now a question is, does he have possession with the right arm before the left arm hits the white chalk?
I don't know, but to me it looks like it may be. If it looks like it could be a touchdown.
Yeah. Richards, in his first 8 games, 488 receiving yards. Already the 6th most ever for a freshman receiver at Miami. He's chasing Michael Irvin's school record.
Yeah, and I want to say he's shortly, around 400 yards trying to chase that record. Yep. But a nice story about Amon Richards. Highly recruited coming out of high school. And what Miami knew they needed when they came in and brought their new staff in, they hired Ron Dugans. He's the wide receiver coach, a very, very good recruiter.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Catch. First and goal, Miami.
They rule him down to the 1. Yeah. First and goal.
And so Ron Dugans, the wide receiver coach, He recruited Ahmad Richards to come here, and the decision came down to Alabama and Miami, and I thought it was impressive that he decided to bring his talents here to the Hurricanes versus going to Alabama.
So the goal line offense into the game for Miami, and that includes the big back. Gus Edwards dots the I, 230-pound bulldozer. And the give to him. Did he power across the goal line? No, he was stopped. This is strength versus strength because Pittsburgh's defensive strength is that front seven.
Yeah, it is. And you look at Tyreek Jarrett, Shakir Soto, these two big guys, they know that nothing is ever started good if we don't do it early and often.
Kaya under center. Marquez Williams, the fullback, with Edwards, the tail. Edwards takes the pitch. Hit in the backfield and denied. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 1.
Now, I'm not a big fan of tosses on the goal line, especially when you're in the red zone on the 1-2-yard line. The reason why, certain defenses are so fast that they can pursue left to right lateral. And you saw Juan Price, he was able to get in on that play and stop the momentum. That's the reason why I prefer plays to be downhill.
Quentin Wirginis with a big hit for the Pitt defense. Pat Narduzzi and Josh Conklin say he's a 3rd down money backer. Lofting it to the end zone. Caught. Stacy Coley for the touchdown. What a pretty pass from Kaya.
A pretty pass. Nice execution up front.
And he beat the true freshman DeMar Hamlin, making just his 2nd ever appearance for the Panthers.
And DeMar Hamlin, he had nice coverage. He was patient, but there's one thing as my defensive coach used to tell me all the time: you never can defend a great throw and a great catch. That's exactly what you saw by Kaya.
The extra pulling up is good for Badgley. Up so far, Miami's rushed it 7 times for 13 yards, but Brad Kaya's passed it 10 times for 10 completions and 2 touchdowns.
In front of him, whether or not if it's a 6-man box, 7-man box, and he gets it. He's 10 for 10, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns. If the game could be over, I'm pretty sure he would wish it could be over right now with this type of performance he's putting up.
Putting that performance in front of scouts from 13 NFL teams in the house today, including several that are in need of quarterbacks.
He is a pro-style caliber quarterback, and I really like what he's done thus far.
We got 21 points on the board and haven't talked about the Pittsburgh offense because with Quadri Henderson's kickoff return, we have not seen Nathan Peterman yet. He's making his 20th career start at Pittsburgh. Came to Pitt from Tennessee, started a couple games for the Volunteers, and he really relies on his players around him, especially James Conner in the backfield. Henderson and Jester Weah had big years on the outside. Dontez Ford in motion, and the pitch goes up the middle. It's the fullback, George Aston. Doesn't get the ball much, but that's a big play. And Pat Narduzzi's been waiting a while for Matt Canada to throw that play out there.
Well, this is very unconventional because George Aston, he will get the ball when you least expect it. Matt Canada, their offensive coordinator, he talks about breaking tendencies, knowing that certain teams will have a certain bead on what he does in previous games.
Daquan Johnson brought him down after an 18-yard gain, technically a pass, so Peterman's 1 for 1. He'll throw again and completes it. Henderson ushered out of bounds by Jamal Carter Sr. This Miami defense is missing Adrian Colbert, suffered an arm injury, had surgery this past week according to the Miami Herald. They're also missing Demetrius Jackson on the defensive line. And Pittsburgh has put up a lot of points. 7 straight games scoring at least 36.
And a lot of that is due to their quarterback play. Nathan Peterman, very efficient when he throws the football. 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
So just a couple plays and into Miami territory, and here's Connor. He's brought down by Corn Elder. Impact players for Pittsburgh, there are a bunch of them. They're presented by Food Lion. We've already seen what Henderson can do, and one of the coolest stories in the country, Brian O'Neill making his 21st start consecutively in the offensive line. He's becoming known for his touchdowns, the highest scoring offensive lineman perhaps ever.
And I think it's due to the fact that he doesn't have enough starts as the senior guy on the offensive line, so they throw him another bone by allowing him to score 2 touchdowns.
On second down, Peterman hit as he was thrown. It was almost picked off by Johnson.
Miami did a good job of just applying pressure in the pocket. They came with the blitz, brought both the linebackers, Shaq Quarterman and Zach McLeod. And that's the reason why Nathan Peterman just rushed and almost threw an interception right there.
After 12 straight completions by the two quarterbacks, finally a pass hits the ground, and we've got third down. Only the second time we've gotten to third down so far in the opening quarter. Peterman buys some time, but overthrows his target, Chester Weah, down the sidelines.
I tell you what, this Miami defense, they're playing fast, they're playing aggressive. And when you look at their philosophy on the defensive side, Manny Diaz, he told us yesterday, we want to be known as a fast and aggressive defense, making it simple for our defensive linemen, one-gap football.
Ryan Winslow about to launch his 40th punt of the season, or is he? He throws down the sideline, and it's incomplete, intended for Malcolm Lewis. Sheldrick Redwine with the coverage, and Pittsburgh's big chance does not pay off. Miami will take over right near midfield after this break from your local stations.
Do you play the first 2 drives, and that was a 3rd and 1 on the goal line? They're staying on schedule.
1 for 1 on third down. The touchdown to Coley coming on that third down toss from Kaya, who retakes the field. He's 10 for 10. He tossed for 261 yards against Pitt last year. He's already got half that in the opening 9+ minutes. Mark Walton. He really never got it going last year against the Panthers. Only 19 carries on 13 yards. But he's a dangerous back. Mark Rick says he's their fastest guy in the backfield.
He's definitely more of a home run hitter.
Kaya to Richards. That'll move the chains. Ryan Lewis brought him down.
Kaya does a great job of understanding the guys in the box. As you see, 7 guys in the box. That's the reason why he's going to throw it out wide to Armand Richards. It's about a cat and mouse game. He's not going to change the play, but he can count, and he can count well, and that's the reason why he threw it to the outside.
Kaya, Njoku, inside the 15. He is surgical right now.
He is searchable, and he is easy to find. He's split out as a slot receiver, and he's doing this to DBs. Reminds me a lot of Gronkowski from New England, tight end.
Got that athleticism. Making a man miss. That's Dale Harris. Close to another first down. He'll be spotted at the 4. The 9th catch of the year for the third-year sophomore from Mississippi.
And here's another RPO. They understand the numbers. If you leave the slot receiver uncovered, they're just going to throw it a little lateral pass and let the receiver do what he does best.
Walton runs into a pack of defenders led by Jeremiah Taleni.
And that's playing into Pitt's hands. Their defensive line is very good, and they understand with Tyreek Jeremiah, they understand we have to play together in order to put more pressure on Miami.
Well, Mark Richt knew the plan coming into the game. He was going to throw the ball a bunch. We'll be right back to Hard Rock Stadium in a moment after this word from the Atlantic Coast Conference.
The Atlantic Coast Conference would like to thank its official corporate champion.
Tech has that tiebreaker against North Carolina. The Hokies in good shape in the Coastal.
Yeah, the Hokies are in good shape. North Carolina playing against Georgia Tech today. That's going to be a good matchup.
With the rain falling, they give up the middle. Marquez Williams on 3rd and inches takes it across the line to gain. It'll be 1st and goal. Marquez Williams, a really interesting story, Takeo. He was playing Division II football at Mars Hill College in North Carolina. When he arrived at Mars Hill, John Richt, Mark Richt's son, was the QB. And John Richt helped get Marquez Williams, after 3 years at Mars Hill, down to Miami. Now, it looked like they were going to spot it for the first down, but now it is just shy of the marker, and it appears to be 4th and inches.
Coach Richt, he's looking frustrated. He wants to keep the momentum going because he understands once you have a defense on their heels, you do not want them to make any adjustments by allowing them to have more time.
And now they adjust the call. It will be a 1st down and goal. Brad Kaya has really done a great job today getting rid of the ball quickly and allowing that offensive line a chance to gain some confidence. They've just been marching down the field. Averaging close to 9 yards per play. Another fade looking Coley's way, and it's incomplete.
Ryan Lewis did a nice job of not panicking. The timing was off because Kaya kind of fumbled the ball at the snap. But look at Ryan Lewis. He just plays the pocket of the hands of the receivers. And the rain is coming down in his face, and he's not panicking. He even looks back. That's textbook defensive back play for all of the young kids out there who are trying to become a top defensive back.
We knew
a nice job.
We knew there was a 30, 35, 40% chance of showers. We did not expect a monsoon to break out, but I guess in Florida anything's possible. Flag down, touchdown. Let's see if it stands. Njoku, it would be his 2nd of the quarter.
I'm not sure if this is going to stand.
Offense, number 3.
You are sure.
15-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
It should be at least.
The reason why, this is a classic pick play, and that's what they got him on. Njoku, he's coming across, and as you see, Stacy Coley, he came across and picked the DB. Whether or not if it was unintentional, but it looked intentional to the ref, that's the reason why he called it.
So it's the first real negative play of the day for Miami. First penalty. Gary Patterson, the referee for the Panthers in the Canes' 36th all-time meeting. 4th time these two schools have met as members of the ACC. And on the left side of the line, it was Coley
False
moving
start.
early.
Number 3, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Now, Evan, we talked about the 4 keys to the game. Miami understanding they have to stay on schedule. The last 2 snaps, which they did not snap the ball at all, this is not staying on schedule. Pre-snap penalties, not being disciplined enough, and when you put your team in long yardage situations, it makes it that much harder not only to run the ball, but just get 1st downs overall.
Njoku in the slot, looking his way, and it's over everybody. Njoku and Malcolm Lewis in the area as well.
I don't know if the ball got away from him a little bit on that with the rain coming down. I guess the positive part about that play, he put it in a place, Kaya put it in a place to where no one could get it.
Third and goal from the 23. Amon Richards in the slot. They give up the middle to Walton. Running into the teeth of that Pittsburgh defense. So here comes the field goal unit with Badgley leading the way.
You can just tell right here they understood we're not going to push the envelope on this. Mike Pereira, the linebacker for Pitt, did a nice job of just getting lower than the running back, stopping his momentum.
Badgley had 25 field goals last year, set a school record. Only 9 field goals made in 8 games this year. And there's number 10. And Miami leads by 10.
Got a flag on the play. Maybe a hold.
Hold everything.
Repeat 4th down.
Gary Patterson did just signal holding. So all of a sudden, this is going to become a lengthy field goal on 4th and goal.
These are the little things that will keep a good team from being a great team or a bad team from being a good team.
It's a great point. All of a sudden, a 47-yard attempt. Badgley's long this year is 51. He got it well, and that's perfect. Officially a 46-yard attempt and a make for the junior Badgley, who, by the way, he wears number 15. So does Brad Kaya, and they're actually roommates. They have a lot of 15 gear, you would think.
So you're saying it's premeditated somewhat, huh?
Perhaps.
And, hey, imagine when they go to a bowl game this season, if they're fortunate enough, the gear that they would get with number 15 on it. And if they're roommates, now if I'm wearing 115, I'm going into his bag and I'm going to pull his 15 gear out and tell him I only got one.
So Miami leading by 10. 2:26 to play in the first quarter. Kaya is now 13 of 15 for 180 yards. I mean, he is on track for a 700-yard day.
If he keeps it up, he will. Give a lot of credit to Coach Mark Richt. He is the play caller, and he understands certain time when to call certain plays.
This time, no return for Henderson. And now it's time for a Hardee's update. The ACC Network offering split coverage today. And the Yellow Jackets going 83 yards. Clinton Lynch down the sideline to get the Ramblin' Wreck back into it at Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill. They've got some explosive offense early in that one, too.
Carolina needs a win to keep pace with Virginia Tech in that game. Who says Georgia Tech can't throw the ball?
Nathan Peterman. Aston's second reception. Cornelder brings him down.
It seems to me they want to get Aston, not necessarily saying he's the guy, the X factor, but they're going to put him into the game plan because when you look at Matt Canada's offense, he understands tendencies and how defenses break down their tendencies from game to game. So he's going to throw a new wrinkle in. We talked about Brian O'Neill scoring 2 touchdowns this season. The right tackle.
Matt Canada says he comes up with all kinds of stupid ideas for plays, and well, some of them actually work. Here's Connor. One of the great stories in sports, the opener of 2015, James Conner having the knee injury and running into some Food Lion impact players for Miami right there. Quarterman and Elder. Quarterman part of that very young but talented linebacker core.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how not only him but his other 2 compadres react to the shifts, the motion that Pitt provides. Cornelder, I like his game, complete player. Can not only play the ball in the air, but he has a desire to be great.
Connor behind Peterman, who's under center on 3rd and 1. And the give to Aston. And he's got the 1 yard he needed. Tugged down by Zach McLeod and Michael Pinckney. George Aston's been a busy guy so far. He arrived as a preferred walk-on, but he's on scholarship now and earning that scholarship in the opening quarter.
Earning every penny of it. Zach McLeod, he almost came up with a nice play to stop for third down, but Aston, big guy, 6 foot 245, lean forward.
Peterman. Incomplete. Out of bounds. Henderson could not keep it in. Our 1st and 10 line brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery, celebrating 10 years and over $4.5 billion raised for education. And it'll be 2nd and 10 here for the Pittsburgh offense.
Miami's doing a good job of applying pressure, not allowing Nathan Peterman to really get his feet set to throw a quick strike down the field. That's the reason why some of his passes are leading his guys out of bounds.
Henderson takes it, shakes Joe Jackson in the backfield, and gains positive yards before Jamal Carter Sr. takes him down. A 6-yard gain sets up a 3rd and 4.
Pitt does a nice job of getting Henderson the ball on the jet sweep and also running in between the tackles with James Conner. And as a defensive player, you don't know what to read when that motion comes across or an interior defensive lineman. That's the reason why you have to play your responsibility.
Pittsburgh not going to get the snap off before the time expires. So the 2nd quarter will begin with a 3rd down for the Pittsburgh offense. Quadri Henderson's kickoff return. The lone Panthers score. It's
known to chew up the clock, and they did a great job of holding on to the football.
ACC football brought to you in HD by your local Tire Pros dealer. Win a VIP trip for 2 to the ACC Championship game and Continental Tires at TireProSweepstakes.com. And on 3rd and 1, a tough catch made by Jester Weah to move the sticks.
Jester Weah, I covered a game about a month ago for Pitt, and he has been playing with great confidence more than anything.
And 176 yards that game against the Marshall Thundering Herd as Henderson gets dragged down by Malik Young. Thrust into action today. Young without Adrian Colbert out there, a freshman defensive back from Fort Lauderdale.
Good thing Malik Young was able to bring him down, because that almost looked like as if it was going to be a house call for a touchdown.
Anytime Henderson touched the ball, that could happen. Malik Young was a Georgia commit under Mark Richt, decommitted to the Bulldogs, and then signed on with Coach Richt here at Miami. Down the middle, the tight end, Orndorff. Inside the 30, the 28-yard line.
Now you see Nathan Peterman, the quarterback for Pitt. He's getting back, letting it go. They just ran a simple seam route. Orndorff found the soft spot in his zone. Nice completion.
Quick tempo for the Panther offense, and a quick completion to Dantes Ford. And a roughing the passer penalty will add to it.
15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down. Half the distance to the goal, half the distance to the goal.
Dantes Ford broke his collarbone earlier in the year against Penn State. Returned 9 days ago against Virginia Tech, and Mark Richt is, well, he's bemused a bit by that call.
Yeah, I think they got Gerald Willis on roughing the passer, and it was late. And these are the type of plays, going back on it again. This is the reason why certain teams can't get ahead of themselves, because it's hard enough to beat the opposing team, but you have to be disciplined and not put yourself in negative yards.
Connor, round the corner to the end zone. 12-yard touchdown gallop for the junior, James Conner. Recruited as a defensive lineman 2 years ago, the ACC Player of the Year, and he marches in untouched to bring Pittsburgh right back in it. James Conner went 364 days between football games before returning in the opener against Villanova this year. And his 13th touchdown of the season helps to bring Pittsburgh back within 3. What a story. James Conner, the heart and soul of the Panthers. 3-point game in Miami.
Mellow Mushroom Stone Baked Pizza is
Today, Lusaka Polite, former Pittsburgh 3-year captain, in the house as well, an honorary captain for Pitt. After the Conner touchdown, the ensuing kickoff. Here comes Lewis. He hesitated, but he made it pay off, crossing the 30-yard line out to the 34.
Now, when you watch these two guys, the linebackers in the middle, they're just following their read responsibility. Did not see the pull, which came late, but Quadre Henderson right there, that's the key block. And when you have a guy get pinned inside who was supposed to have contained, that's the reason why James Conner can run to the end of the end zone, and nobody will never catch him when he gets out like that.
11th rushing touchdown of the year for Conner. Also has a couple touchdowns on receptions. Kaya, 13 of 15, looks to throw again. He doesn't run much with it, but he will scramble for positive yards and a Miami first down.
Who says Brad Kaya is not athletic enough to get out of the pocket? It just depends on who's chasing after him or who's not open. He does a good job. He didn't force the issue. He understood, hey, these guys are playing man coverage. Everybody is ran off down the field. He advanced the ball by running it. Nice job by Brad Kaya.
Kaya's been training for this job for a long time. He started playing quarterback at age 8. Took it very, very seriously. His father, Brad Sr., really helped him develop, put a lot of pressure on him, and Brad Kaya Jr. wanted that pressure as the handoff to Walton, stuffed by Tyreek Jarrett.
Tyreek Jarrett, he just takes up everything. One-handed tackle, left hand, and it takes a strong man to be able to do that. I call him 6-ball, not 8-ball, 6-ball, because of the jersey number 6.
6'3", 335-pound big fella. On second down, Kaya, complete. Fifth catch of the day for Stacy Coley, and he's shaken up on the play. Miami's leading receiver, who has at least one reception in 18 games in a row. With that reception there, he just passed Michael Irvin and Santana Moss for third all-time on the Miami career reception list. He's got 144 catches. But concern looks on the faces of Miami fans. Perhaps not them. They look like they're enjoying themselves. And certainly concern here for the Hurricanes.
As they should. We know what he brings to the table, to this Miami's offense. It's two receivers. When you look at the scouting report, you're going to start with Miami's receiver, Stacy Coley. He's a big-time playmaker, a guy who has gotten better every game and so productive. And that's the reason why they are worried, as they should be, because he makes Brad Kaya's job a lot easier.
Well, this is interesting. He doesn't look like he took a huge hit on the landing.
May have happened when he was tackled or the defender landed on him.
College football playoff rankings brought to you by Progressive Insurance. ACC teams highlighted: Clemson #2, Louisville #7. They're going to have a tough time getting into the top 4 with the remaining schedule the Cardinals have got.
Yeah, and I think they could get into the top 4, but the reason why they probably won't, if you look at their remaining schedule, who they have to play, not one of their opponents is in the top 25. And if you can't beat a top 25 opponent that is ranked at that time, voters are not going to push you up that high.
So Coley on the sidelines. Kaya will keep throwing anyway. Looking for Braxton Berrios. Incomplete. And Avante Maddox, who was a game-time decision coming into today's proceedings on the coverage.
Avante Maddox, he did a nice job of just running down the field one-on-one. He didn't panic. I was looking at him in the pregame, and he was very tentative using his arm. He has an upper extremity injury, but he did a nice job of being in coverage and not causing a pass interference.
Without Philippi Motley, Maddox really important, a junior defensive back. And they attack that side of the field again, going after Dane Jackson this time. It's Malcolm Lewis with the reception. Sixth receiver to catch a ball from Kaya so far today.
Yeah, Malcolm Lewis just came off the ball, pressed hard. He saw that the corner was playing off coverage, and when a corner is playing off coverage, those routes, the little 5-yard hitches, 5-yard stops, will be open all day until you make that DB come in your face and actually pressure.
The conversation all week in Pittsburgh has been about the game plan of Pat Narduzzi and Josh Conklin, committing to stopping the run, putting pressure on the DBs in one-on-one matchups. On 3rd and 2, Miami's going to throw it. Looking long. Njoku could not haul it in.
Kaya got pressured late, and he overthrew the football, but I'm pretty sure he wished he could have that one back because he had enough time to complete it. He had enough time, and he was wide open, but just overthrew him in the back of the end zone.
So on 4th and 2 from the 31, Mark Richt decides to send out the field goal unit. Badgley's already hit from 46. This one will be from 48. And Badgley remains perfect today. Miami marches down the field, right back. A field goal doubles the lead.
From cancer, beating cancer, that's awesome.
Even more astounding when you realize Connor's a redshirt junior. He will be the ACC's all-time rusher. Botched play there. Peterman and Connor colliding. And a big loss.
We talk about Nathan Peterman so much that, yeah, he's efficient, but he not only is an efficient quarterback, but he manages the game well by understanding with the motions and the shifts of who's getting the football. Very surprising to see they have the mix-up in the backfield, and you saw after the play he looked at Connor telling him, hey, you should have did something else.
The loss of 6. Henderson going laterally impacted that as well. Now here's Connor trying to gain some of those yards back. Out to the 21. For more on James Conner, let's go down to the field level with the third member of our team, Amanda Cool.
Well, guys, James is no stranger to record books. In 2014, he actually passed legendary Pitt running back Tony Dorsett on Pitt's single-season touchdown list here in Miami. It meant so much to him that he still has the cleats from that game on display at his home. He told me earlier this week that it's really special for him to come down here and play in Miami. Expect him to play really well today.
Great stuff, Amanda. He's got 1 touchdown already, but now a 3rd and long. Quadri Olison in the backfield with Peterman, who rifles down the middle. And that is complete for the first down. The receiver shaken up. Aaron Matthews, the true freshman. No, excuse me, it's Trey Tipton. Another young receiver. He got drilled on the end of this play.
And when you look at the bottom of the screen, it looks as if they're playing a 2-man coverage. The guy's actually playing a man, but underneath. And I tell you what, Jamal Carter Sr., he came in and put everything he had to Trey Tipton. Hopefully.
Tech hanging with North Carolina in Chapel Hill. Takeo Lamar Jackson so far, 174 yards in the air, 4 scores, 117 on the ground, 1 score. It was a 69-yard run. And here's Quadri Henderson for Pittsburgh. Into Miami territory to the 32.
I tell you what, they do a very nice job of doing this sweep play with Quadri Henderson, and it's predicated off of getting the ball into his hands and making that one guy miss. If he makes that one guy miss, it's a big yardage play, as you just saw.
Pittsburgh really trying to push the issue. Connor runs into a crowd. R.J. McIntosh, the 6'4 sophomore, and the flag comes in late.
Wow, unnecessary roughness, number 92 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And they announced 92 Cortell Jenkins. It was 91 Willis who kind of went in late with a helmet. Either way, it'll be 15 additional yards for Pittsburgh on a what would have been a negative play for the Miami defense.
Yeah, it would have been a negative play for R.J. McIntosh, but these are the plays, I'm telling you, that keep you from getting to where you need to go. Momentum stoppers. They would have had the momentum for a negative loss yardage of play.
Kind of been the story for Miami in the month of October. One close loss after another. This Pittsburgh team knows all about the heartbreaker. The pitch to Aston. Squirms his way through the traffic. And George Aston has the touchdown. 23 yards from Peterman on the pitch to his redshirt sophomore fullback.
That play was ran so good. I did not know who had the football right there. Matt Canada talk about his guys understanding tendencies of what he's shown before. Aston, I broke down film, and I've never seen Aston get that ball on that particular play in the previous 2 weeks. So it goes to show you he's doing something crazy.
That's his 6th touchdown of the year, his 2nd in the air. Blew it for the lead. Got it. So Pittsburgh has been down as many as 10. Now in the lead for the first time today in Miami. Pittsburgh has surged in front on the back of the creative play calling from Matt Canada. George Aston, the fullback, with the touchdown. We'll show you exactly what happened after the kickoff here. Malcolm Lewis will have a chance to bring it up. From the goal line, he'll cross the 20, and he'll take it out to the 29-yard line. Takeo, what'd you see on this touchdown?
Well, it's just missed responsibility. First, when you see the linebacker on the outside by the 20-yard line, he's coming down to take the responsibility of the sweep coming back across from the running back. Once Peterman sees he's taken, he pitches the ball, but inside linebacker Mike Smith just overruns it. And as a linebacker, you have to understand and trust your other guys to take care of the responsibility. And this is a prime example. When you don't, that's the reason what happens. Reason why you see what happened, a touchdown.
Pat Narduzzi did tell us he hoped to make their linebackers head spin a little bit over the outstretched reach of Amon Richards on first down. And that was their game plan coming in. They see those 3 freshman linebackers. He knows they're skilled. But let's show them some things they haven't seen before and make their head spin a little bit.
Yeah, and I can attest to it when you're a linebacker and you're playing against a team that is formation-driven crazy as far as hurrying up, giving you different sets. It makes you panic if you're not a veteran in the game as far as seeing it.
On second down, Kaya completes it. Mark Walton has the first down and more to the 46. Mike Caprera finally brings him down.
That was a nice play call designed by Mark Rick right there. He understood that these guys are going to run hard, but he brought the receiver across to block the inside linebacker, and that's the reason why it sprung out on the screen play. Mark Walton got positive yards for another first down.
17-yard gain on the 2nd and 10. Brad Kaya over 200 yards in the first half. He's already thrown 2 touchdowns. They give to Walton down the sideline, taken out of bounds by Terrence Webb after a big gain for the Canes.
Now we look at, I call these guys the 2-headed monster. Tyreek Jarrett, he's down on the field.
Terrence Webb might have saved a touchdown there. 29 yards on the gallop from Walton. It's got to feel good. Miami has not been able to run the ball very well. And it's not just Jarrett, it's also Shakir Soto, the 2 starting defensive tackles in identical positions.
Yeah, and once you look at the replay, it looks like Shakir Soto, he got cut, then he rolled into his teammate, Tyreek Jarrett. So it seems like both guys have lower extremity injuries.
Body is just tumbling over. Tyreek Jarrett, Shakir Soto, both seniors. Both have been mainstays starting every game this year. Soto, 2.5 sacks on the season. And I mean, really, what Price does on the outside, it's largely because what these guys are able to clog up in the middle. And Price has been pretty quiet so far today, and this is not going to make it easier for him.
No, it's not. And even going to the second level of defenders, Mike Cabrera, Matt Columbus, the linebackers, you need these two guys in the interior part. This is the reason why this defense works. This is the reason why they've had so much success at stopping the run, being one of the top defending teams in the nation at stopping the run. But you have to give a lot of credit also to Mark Walton. His vision on that play.
Yep.
I thought he was going to keep it front side, but he instantly saw when both guys fell down, and he cut it all the way back for a large gain. Now, the impact that Pitt is going to go through with Tyreek Jarrett out, because when we talk to the coaches, they say he is the bread and butter. He is the heart and soul of the interior line of what we do as far as stopping the run.
Well, remember, they're also missing Rory Blair, who did not make the trip. He was out today. That pass over Braxton Berrios. He wanted a flag. None forthcoming. It'll be second down. So if you look at this now, the starting defensive line for Pitt much of the year, Blair, Jarrett, Soto, and Price. Right now it's just Price.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job with Price by, we talked about in the open earlier, using both tight ends. David Njoku, he's doing a great job of just being in his face over there, not allowing him to get free uncontested pass rushes.
Kaya will throw again, looking right. Through the hands of Harris.
Kaya threw a nice football right there. And it kind of reminds me of a couple of weeks ago what Pitt went through, the back shoulder fade. Their DBs had a hard time stopping the back shoulder fade. Nice ball, Dale Harris. He got to make that catch. Those are ones that you draw up and you want to get the one-on-one, but he couldn't come down with it.
On the defensive line, we're seeing James Folston Jr., Jeremiah Taleni, and Amir Watts into the game for Pitt. On third down, Kaya completes it. Lewis across the 15 for the first down. Malcolm Lewis brought down by Ryan Lewis after the gain of 14.
I tell you what, I'm happy to see the progression of both quarterbacks, especially Kaya, because he's scanning the field and finding that one-on-one opportunity.
Walton shimmies through the middle to the 3.
We talked about the impact of Tyreek Jarrett. That's the impact of what you miss by having the big guy in the middle. They're not getting the big wall in the front.
Miami's offense was cruising earlier when the rain was falling. The skies have opened up again, and Walton might have a first down here. It'll be first and goal from the 1 in the Florida downpour. With a play clock at 28, they snap it. Walton stoned at the line. It'll be second and goal.
Matt Columbus, he just steps up in there and he meets him right on the goal line. I don't think he got in. Matt did a great job of just putting his helmet on his helmet.
Quick snap. And it's a touchdown. Kaya with the keeper. As you said earlier, Takeo, who says he can't run the ball?
Who says he can't? Yippee-ki-yay. Been waiting all day to say that. Nice second effort to get himself across the goal line. Give credit to his offensive linemen. They did a nice job of understanding it was a hurry-up offense and getting movement up front.
Badgley tacks on the PAT. Another lead change here at Hard Rock Stadium as Miami has had 5 possessions and 5 scores. Their punter, Justin Vogel, has got a clean jersey. Miami leads at 27-21, 6:05 to go in the second. Tickets to the 2016 Dr. Pepper ACC Football Championship game are on sale now. Game is headed to Orlando on December the 3rd. Tickets available on Ticketmaster. Carrabba's Italian Grill partnering with the ACC to offer a special 4-pack. It includes 4 tickets, 4 ACC hats, and a $20 Carrabba's gift card, all for just $120. Call to order while supplies last. You think it's going to be Clemson and Virginia Tech in Orlando? Is that a given right now, or do you think we could have a curveball the next month?
It could be a curveball because the thing is, when you look at this ACC conference, top to bottom, yeah, you can assume what it could be, but defensively, that is going to be the key thing that will really tell us who is going to be in the championship game, because I remember last year, you have your picks already set out, but certain teams just cannot finish in the end.
Nathan Peterman coming back onto the field. The Ram power play brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, and Ram. The reason Clemson in first place, the win in Tallahassee last Saturday, coming down to the wire. Deshaun Watson to Jordan Leggett, 34-yard touchdown with just 2:06 to go. 37-34 for the win. The Ram power play brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, and Ram. And almost an interception. Corn Elder thought he should have made the play.
Nathan Peterman, he didn't even see Corn Elder on that play. But the thing I like what Corn Elder did, he just kind of undercut the route. Nathan Peterman was just actually trying to throw it out of bounds, it looks like.
Interesting thing to note, Zakio, since the first Miami kickoff of the game when Henderson took it back 100 yards, Badgley has hit the next 4 kickoffs into the end zone for touchbacks.
Lesson learned.
You would think. Here's James Conner. Great vision to maneuver outside and out of bounds. Ushered there by Rayshawn Jenkins after a 15-yard run.
When in doubt, go to Conner. You see Shaq Quarterman. He just played his run read wrong. He got caught behind the offensive guard, and they did a good job. James Conner set that run up nicely. That's the reason why the freshman linebacker got out of his run gap responsibility.
Miami's defense has held 6 of its opponents this year to 21 points or less. Don't think that's going to happen today. Although the defensive line makes a statement on that play. Trent Harris and Zach McLeod teaming up for the stop. With all the injuries we've seen so far, let's get an update down on the field with Amanda.
Thanks, Evan. Well, we saw Coley come off the field for the Hurricanes earlier, and I talked to trainer Vinny Scalvo as soon as it happened, and he said he had no doubt that Coley would be back on the field for Miami. As for Pitt, Jarrett came off with a left ankle injury at the same time as Shakir Soto, also with a left ankle injury. Jarrett remains on the bench, not moving much. And as for Shakir Soto, he's up and moving that ankle, and he has joined the defensive corps over here on my right-hand side.
Amanda, thank you for braving the elements down there. The rain, as unreal as it has been all day long, Peterman scampers for the first down. Takeo, do you enjoy playing in these type of conditions?
Absolutely not. I hate it. But Peterman, he loves playing in these type of conditions. He picked up a big block by his back on Zach McLeod. Zach McLeod, the linebacker, the freshman linebacker, he was supposed to hold contain. That's the reason why that ball got outside.
Shantez Moss is the freshman back. He runs into the backside of the offensive lineman, Dorian Johnson. It was Alex Officer as well. R.J. McIntosh with a push.
I like the two interior defensive linemen for Miami Hurricanes, Kendrick Norton and R.J. McIntosh. R.J. McIntosh simply bench pressed his guard in front of him and made his guard make the tackle. That's grown man strength.
Grown man's downpour right now, too. All these players are drenched. 2nd and 14. It's Henderson on the jet sweep. And behind his right guard, Alex Buxer, and the right tackle, Brian O'Neill. He gets close to a first down. In fact, he's going to move the chains.
You talk about going behind the right side of the offensive line. These sweep plays are predicated in getting the one-on-one matchup. This time, he had blockers out front. Brian O'Neill did a nice job of just coming around and just walling off everybody, getting in the way. The most athletic offensive lineman Pitt has.
The fullback Aston lined up as a tight end on the left side of the line. Henderson in motion again. They give this to Connor. Not much there. He gains a couple. Quarterman and Pinkney on the stop. Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator from Miami, telling us that James Conner, I beg your pardon, that was Shantez Moss, who's played each of the last 7 games, enrolled in Pitt this past January. They like this freshman back from Bedford, Ohio. Shantez Moss, still just 18 years old. He'll be 19 on Tuesday.
Young pup.
He'll get to vote in the presidential election for the first time. Swing pass to Ford. And Cornelder defensively was there.
That play looked like it had a lot of potential to gain a lot of yards. Cornelder did a nice job of understanding what they were trying to do. So he came off of his coverage, playing zone alignment and zone coverage. And that's the reason why he was able to come up as fast as he did and make the play.
Miami back in front, and the crowd has come back to life. On 3rd and 5 from the 33. Connor back in the game. 3 wide to the left, and a false start.
Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Looks like they got Brian O'Neill. He was getting ready to come off of the ball. Chad Thomas, his stance looked as if he was at the Daytona 500 because he's ready to get after the quarterback. He understands it's a passing situation. You can hit a crowd in here today, Evan.
You wonder if O'Neill's early jump there was because a lateral might have been going to him on the right side. Just a thought. With the deception, 3 wide to the left. New play here. 3rd and 10. Incomplete. It was dropped by Weah. He had a lot of green in front of him.
He had a lot of real estate, and if you look back at this play, Nathan Peterman really had his pick across the board, even on the bottom side.
Peterman couldn't have put that in a better spot.
No, very uncharacteristic of Justin Weah. Jester, he has been coming on, making a lot of plays lately, and the coaches talked about he has been playing with great confidence lately.
A 4th down from the 38. The punting unit is on the field. We've seen one unsuccessful fake punt earlier. Ryan Winslow will boot it this time. And another critical mistake for Pittsburgh. It was Rafael Araujo-Lopes who was there to down it inside the 2 in the 2nd consecutive drop on the last 2 plays for Pittsburgh. So Miami will bring it out to the 20. Time for a quick Hardee's update. Up by 3, the Tar Heels looking for more. 68-yard completion down the sideline. Howard in the clear. And the Tar Heels back up by 10 in Chapel Hill. That's our ACC Network split broadcast today. Tom Wormy, Dave Archer and company up in Chapel Hill. I'm Evan Lepler with Takeo Spikes and Amanda Cool here at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens. Brad Kaya fires out of bounds. And Bug Howard's catch against Pittsburgh earlier this season, a critical play in that Coastal Division race that we're still talking about.
Bug Howard is no stranger when it comes to not only big-time catches, but big-time catches that will seal the game. Definitely did that earlier this year.
Kaya is currently at 235 yards. Miami's got plenty of time. 2 of their 3 timeouts left, and a flag flies late. Currently, it's spotted at the 30. It would be a first down if it stands.
Holding, number 3, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Second down.
Well, Amanda was right. Stacy Coley has returned to the game, but a costly holding penalty here in the final minutes of the half.
Yeah, as you see, you can see his left hand grabbing right behind his leg, and that's what the official saw. And then he want to pull it back. Hey, it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. They caught you, Coley. They caught you.
Literally hanging on by the pant leg. Joe Yearby in the backfield next to Kaya. 21-year-old Southern California kid zips it out to his left. It's a short gain, and the clock will roll until Miami takes a timeout. Pat Narduzzi.
Miami's player helmet came off during the play. Since it's under 1 minute to play in the half, Miami would have to take a timeout to avoid his 10-second runoff. They do not want to use a timeout. Therefore, put 43 seconds on the clock. It will start on my signal.
Interesting. The clock stopped right after the play ended. Never saw the timeout signal. And the reason it stopped, obviously, the helmet became loose. This third down here, Pittsburgh could force a punt, which in these conditions is certainly no gimme, and could give Henderson a chance. Kaya will keep it in the air, and he slings it to space. Nobody was in the flat. That stops the clock with 25 seconds left in the half.
We talk about RPOs, run pass option. That was an RPO that went wrong. Neither one of the guys, they were on the same page right there. That's the reason why it's incompletion.
First time today, we're seeing Justin Vogel. And a timeout called by Pittsburgh, the first timeout for Pat Narduzzi. Coming up, our ACC halftime report. Katie Witham, Tommy Bowden, Stan Norfleet will have highlights from around a very busy day in the ACC. We've shown you what's happened in Chapel Hill, and LaMarvelous Jackson doing work up in Chestnut Hill. Here in Miami, Takeo, Amanda, and I will have highlights and analysis of the first half. All that and more coming up on our ACC Network halftime report.
When you look back at this first half, seeing that it's going into halftime, from the Miami perspective, I think they've left a lot of plays out here on the field, from the penalties, being in scoring position to be able to advance to get the first down, but getting 2 penalties called against them, having to kick the field goal, and now Pitt, both interior defensive linemen hurt. It's going to be curious and interesting to see how they respond to stopping the run of Miami in the second half.
Fair catch signaled and made by Henderson at the 31. 18 seconds on the clock. Chris Blewett has kicked a 50-yarder this year. That's his long. Let's see if they take a couple shots down the field with Peterman or just call it a half? You mentioned the penalties to Keogh. Pittsburgh has made one penalty for 5 yards. Miami has a 6-point lead despite 7 penalties for 68 yards.
Yeah, and that usually, the score should be the other way around in Pitt's favor versus Miami.
They're not going to sit on the football. Under pressure, Peterman gets free and almost threw it to an orange jersey. It was Zach McLeod laying out to tip it away.
I tell you what, they may not have sat on the football on that play, but seeing what just had happened, they probably will this time. That ball was almost intercepted by one of their young linebackers, Zach McLeod.
And now they do go into what is often called victory formation. Now just to take us to the half, Miami goes to the locker room with a 27-21 lead. Very entertaining first 30 minutes of football here in Miami.
Very entertaining. And when you look at, I talked about Miami, their first half. When you look at Pitt's first half, they came out and did what was needed to be done from the offensive side. Defensively, they have given up too many big plays. When you look at a Pat Narduzzi's defense, very uncharacteristic because they do not give up big plays. They make you earn everything that you get, and that's the reason why their offense haven't had an opportunity to get back on the field.
Which team's defense do you feel better about right now?
I feel pretty good about Miami's defense because as a defensive unit playing, you know when your offense can go out there and put some points up on the board, that makes it even easier for you to call certain plays as far as Manny Diaz. So I like Miami chances as far as keeping the momentum.
Miami with 326 yards of offense in that first half. Despite the downpour, Brad Kaya's got 250 yards in the air, and Miami leads Pitt by 6 at the break. Second half, a chance to storm down the field in the early minutes. And we'll see if Quadri Henderson can get another chance at a kickoff return. It's interesting. He has been reluctant to field the ball in the end zone. There's been opportunities for him to catch it 2, 3, 5 yards deep. But he's basically playing the goal line, and the coaching point seems to be, we'll take you to the 25-yard line if they give it to us.
Well, Coach Narduzzi talked about just being disciplined. He's not going to do anything that would jeopardize his team's chances of winning the football game. But you have to wonder what will happen if it comes to a crunch time situation to where they have to score.
Perhaps trying to lull that kickoff coverage into a false sense of security. Pittsburgh in the first half, the turnover on downs was on the fake punt when the punter Winslow threw it incomplete. Henderson's 100-yard kickoff return, of course, the first Pittsburgh score of the day. What do you see from Nathan Peterman in that first half, Takeo?
I just thought he looked okay, but he could not get into a rhythm due to the fact that Miami did a good job of getting off on third down.
Oh, he did a nice job there preventing a disaster and salvages a yard out of what could have been a terrible outcome for the Panthers.
Just a nice heads-up play. Bad snap. He saw that. The timing was off. He did as best as he could to get some positive yards out of that play.
The center, Alex Officer, launching his first snap of the second half. Veteran offensive line for Pittsburgh that entered today with about 140 career starts for that offensive line. Biznavati, Johnson, Officer, Buxer, and the touchdown scorer, right tackle, Brian O'Neill. Here's Henderson. Great defense by Rayshon Jenkins. The ball is out. Miami's got it. Chad Thomas picked up the loose change. And Miami will have a first and goal.
If you look at Manny Diaz right now, he is so pumped because he understands we're second in the nation at tackle for losses, but also our chances increases to win ball games when we go out and perform 3 or more turnovers. they've doing a very good job of not only stopping plays from behind the line of scrimmage, but with an emphasis of getting the ball out, as you saw right there. The big defensive end, Chad Thomas, trying to take it and make a house call for a touchdown.
It was Kendrick Norton that forced the fumble. Rayshon Jenkins was just hanging on to Henderson, and the rest of the Miami defenders came like a crew ready to poke that ball out. First turnover of the game. Brad Kaya himself to the 5. Upended by Jordan Whitehead at the 3.
Now, everybody in the stadium had to hold their breath for a second. Kaya, I understand you see everybody is ran off. Nice decision. But you got to protect yourself, big fella.
Brad Kaya in his 34th career start today. Lofting this one to the high jumper. Too tall for Njoku. How rarely does Brad Kaya run the ball? Very infrequently. He's officially had 24 attempts on the season for 11 positive yards. His net rushing, including sacks, minus 134. We know he's been sacked a bunch. His longest rush of the year, 6 yards. Well, it was a 5-yard rush to get it down to the 3.
Good thing he's playing quarterback. Wouldn't be out there long if he was playing running back.
Everybody has their job. And on 3rd down, it's a touchdown for Miami. Second of the day for Stacy Coley. Second time today, Takeo, that Coley has beaten Hamlin in the end zone.
And this was a nice draw. They pretty much came with the 0 blitz. And Coley understood, I have one-on-one coverage. And he did a nice job of turning the defensive back around, using his big body to shield him out for the touchdown.
Extra point sneaks through the upright. Stacy Coley now tied for 2nd all-time Miami receiving history with Lamar Thomas. He's chasing Reggie Wayne at the top of the list. The turnover from Pittsburgh. The fumble from Henderson. The touchdown for Coley. Then at Miami Garden Stadium has been at least 81 degrees at kickoff. After the Coley touchdown, it'll be another touchback. And the word of the week for Miami was trust. What does Brad Kaya feel about his offensive line? On this 3rd down play, the trust was on display.
Yeah, Pitt simply came with the blitz, double A-gap blitz right up the middle. And we talk about trust. Kaya understood, I have enough time because we have enough guys to block. That allowed the one-on-one opportunity with Coley at the back of the end zone. And Coley understood, hey, I can shield this guy out. And that's one side of an quarterback offensive mind working with the receiver's offensive mind.
Peterman under pressure. Aston drilled right at the line of scrimmage. Corn Elder with a big hit.
I love the way Corn Elder plays. He plays with a lot of vision. He can play man-to-man, but as you saw right there, he dropped back with the receiver, had enough vision to see the fullback coming out of the backfield, and look at him. He's feeling himself right now with the music.
James Conner, the impact player for Pittsburgh. 7 carries for 25 yards so far. That includes the touchdown in the first half. Play action. And complete. This is Aaron Matthews. He gets sandwiched. Short of the first down by about 1.5 yards. Redwine and Quarterman, the bread to the Matthews sandwich.
Shaq Quarterman made the tackle on that. But what was impressive about that defensive stop, yeah, they gained yardage, but the amount of defenders that came running to the football. Manny Diaz loves that. He wants to be known as a fast and aggressive defense.
You know as well as anybody, Takeo, a lot of time football comes down to can you get a yard when you need it. And this time it's Aston in the flat for the first down. He has been really important what Pittsburgh's done today, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. And And I keep going back saying Matt Canada understands his tendencies when he come into a football game, knowing that defenses know, hey, they ran this last week, they ran that last week. Ashton did not receive these plays in the previous 2 weeks, and that's the reason why they are open.
George Aston had 9 catches the first 8 games of the year. He's Pittsburgh's leading receiver today, 5 catches for 56 yards. Gained 10 yards on the last play as the handoff goes to Connor. And he'll wiggle his way out to the 49-yard line, a 5-yard pickup before R.J. McIntosh takes him down.
This offensive lineman is doing a good job of just getting movement up front.
Impervious to the play clock, Peterman. A bullet to the chest of Scott Orndorff, the tight end. And another Pittsburgh first down.
Now they're speeding the tempo up, not allowing this young defense of Miami to understand and make their checks and line up properly, as you see.
Peterman, the transfer from Tennessee. And the first drop of the day for Aston. Peterman continues to throw it, in part because Pittsburgh just hasn't gotten the running game going.
Yeah, and it's due to the fact that, yeah, Miami is playing good run defense, no doubt about it. But when Miami came out and jumped up on these guys, putting them in a position to where not only are you trying to go against the opposing team, which is Miami defense, but now you're going against the clock, and you want to make sure that you don't get too far behind. That's the reason why their rush yards are down.
Jester Wee at the bottom of the screen. There's Henderson in the slot. And to the right side, it's Connor on the wheel route. Passing complete. It'll be 3rd and 10 for Pittsburgh. Darian Owens, the linebacker, in the coverage.
Darian Owens showing a little athletic ability, running the wheel route with Connor on the sideline.
Darian Owens from the same high school that produces Shaq Quarterman. Owens remembers a freshman Shaq Quarterman arriving. He started all 4 years at Oak Leaf High School. Just a dynamite freshman high school linebacker. He's pretty good as a freshman in college, too. Shantez Moss in the game for Pittsburgh on 3rd down. Interesting situation here for Pitt, the +40. Early in the 3rd quarter, and it just became a 3rd and 15.
Offense, 5 yards, 3rd down.
The senior captain, Adam Bisnavati at left tackle. Oops.
Yeah. And you don't, he's feeling alone, as he should, because he was the only one moving at that time. What was impressive now, on the defensive side, they talk about Shaq Quarterman, the freshman, taking that next step, trying to be a leader. He changed the entire play. He called an audible defensively. Now it's 3rd and 15.
And Manny Diaz has been challenging him, asking him, hey, are you playing good for a freshman, or are you just playing good? Peterman on 3rd and long, hit as he throws. Incomplete. Jamal Carter with the pressure from the safety blitz.
You look at Jamal Carter coming from that safety blitz, and then big number 99, Joe Jackson. He is the man-child that he doesn't get enough pub. Well, he gets enough because he's a freshman, but he has to earn it. He is definitely one of the guys who they will look at keying on to be a big-time performer coming up in years to come.
That ball rolls into the end zone. Second 45-yard punt of the day for Ryan Winslow, but only a net of 25. Hurricanes up by 13 with the ball. Limited today. In fact, he doesn't have a single tackle.
No, he doesn't, and give a lot of credit to Mark Richt because he knew this guy could be a complete disruptive force, getting the ball out of his quarterback's hand. That's the reason why he's been solid.
Mark Walton on 1st down from the 20 gets back to the line of scrimmage. And with the injuries on Pittsburgh's defensive line, that's just more and more attention paid to Price.
Yeah, and as you see here, this play was not called to double Price, but when the guys see number 5 flash in front of their face, they are told, make sure you finish your block if you get hands on him.
Jeremiah Taleni, Amir Watts are the 2 defensive tackles. Edwards and Price on the outside. Price put some pressure on Kaya, forced him to scramble. What do you see from Price that play?
Well, he's coming off, and because he has not been able to get any pass rushes on the outside, he ran a TE game, causing him to go up the middle, which he was effective. He caused Kaya to be able to scramble out of the pocket, plus play for Price.
Nice job by Alex Gall, the senior from Ohio, picking Price up late there, preventing him from drilling the QB. Now 3rd and 7. Important play for the Pittsburgh defense. And a nice throw, very close to the marker, but Coley going to be marked a yard short.
And when you look at that play right there, Pitt defensive coordinator Josh Conklin decided we're not going to sit back and just let Kaya just pick us apart. He brought the blitz to make them force the issue on getting the ball out fast. That's the reason why they're short on the 1st down.
So Coley could not get the ball across the 30. Vogel to punt to Henderson. Big punt, great hang time. That was very important for Mark Richt. Said the hang time was more important than the length. Haviland giving you a chance to vote on this season's best offensive and defensive players and head coach in the ACC. You can visit the ACC.com/fanvote to make your picks from across the league. Cast your vote today. The Pittsburgh with a football at the 17-yard line, trailing by 13 points. Plenty of time, 8:53 to go in the 3rd quarter. Peterman gives it to Maurice French, the freshman on the jet sweep. And he's hammered after just a 1-yard gain. Another freshman defender, Malik Young, with the hit.
Malik Young came up with some authority right there now. Coming off the corner, he was able to fight off the block. And that's what you like as an interior defensive lineman, even a linebacker. When those guys start to run outside on the perimeter, you just want a flash of your DBs to come up and just slow them down. Malik did more than that, coming in, bringing some wood.
We've seen Pittsburgh go to the jet sweep. It's really a key piece to their offense. The freshman learning how to run it at the college level, as Peterson's throw incomplete. Trey Tipton, young wide receiver for Pittsburgh, said something interesting. He said he ran a lot of jet sweeps in high school. The difference in college, you can't cut back, because if you do, you're going to get a 290-pound defensive lineman right in your grill.
Yeah, and you just saw Zach McLeod. He was all up at Nathan Peterman's grill right there. Added, came in on the blitz. He had the running back man. He just shot the gap, and that's the reason why he was able to provide enough pressure to make Peterman miss on that pass.
Timeout Miami.
First time out of the
With a key
half.
3rd down coming up. Pittsburgh 4
Media
for 7
timeout.
on 3rd down so far today. 8:05 to go in the 3rd. We're back to Miami after this local break.
Do you have
A win in Miami for the 2nd time in the last 3 years. An all-time series that the Hurricanes have dominated, winning 17 of the last 19. Today, the 36th meeting between Pitt and Miami, a series that began in 1950. 3rd down for Nathan Peterman. He's got time. He's got a lot of green grass. Nobody to pick him up, and he squeezes his way for a 2 extra yards to the 39-yard line. He runs for 20.
Miami came out with the 2-man coverage. They wanted to make sure that they stopped everything underneath, which they did. Nathan Peterman recognized that and took off and decided to run for the 1st.
After the 20-yard run, Peterman floats it beautifully. On the sideline, Rafael Araujo Lopes with his 3rd catch of the season.
And now they're going to keep this tempo going to keep this young defense off of their keys.
Pumping left, under pressure right. Peterman gets away from one man, and tiptoeing the sideline was Ford. Dontez Ford, welcome back. It's a tough catch.
Tell you what, that was beautiful. To be able to get one toe in, that was nice. Nice footwork by Dontez.
A flag has been thrown.
Pittsburgh receiver went out of bounds on his own. It's first to come back in, touch the pass. Penalty is lost it down the previous spot. 2nd down.
Interesting. Araujo Lopes made the previous catch, and now it's Ford on the sideline, and referees ruled he went out of bounds and then came back in.
Yeah, and
top of the screen.
And once you go out of bounds at the top of the screen, once you go out of bounds, you have to stay out of bounds because you are ineligible unless you were forced out.
The redshirt senior not aware of his surroundings. So no gain, incomplete. 2nd and 10. Quick 1-yard gain for Connor. Miami's done a pretty good job not letting Connor hurt them too badly today.
Yeah, and that's a great point. You look at this guy, he actually made the play but did not make the tackle. Mike Smith, their linebacker, he did a nice job of just holding contain. And when you hold contain, it allows everyone else from the inside pursuit to rally around and stop Connor from making big runs.
You make the play but not the tackle, you don't get recognized on the stat sheet, but I've been in the film room, you get recognized.
Yeah, and I just recognize Mike Smith right there.
3rd and 9. Peterman, nice throw. Jester Weah inside the 10.
Jester Weah, they talked about his confidence has grown. And when I covered the game several weeks ago, he has picked up his style of play over the past few weeks big time.
Flag was thrown. Connor taken down near the 10 after a 33-yard gain on the pass to Weah.
Offsides, defense, number 6. Half the distance to the goal, still 1st down.
Pittsburgh, they punch this in. They're obviously right back in the game.
And this has been a game of momentum swing. The thing that Pitt is doing very well, they understand, hey, when we have the momentum, let's continue to push the issue on it by speeding up our force of play with the speed of play. And it's putting Miami's D in big-time situations that they do not want to be in.
One of the signature notes on Pitt this year, their ability to score touchdowns when they get into the red zone. But this time, George Aston runs into a cavalcade of Hurricanes. Michael Pinckney leading the charge.
Yeah, I think they've caught on to Aston. They're saying enough of Aston. We understand, and we see Pinckney. He was able to fight off the block, hold on until the cavalry comes.
Paul Carter, senior, 4th on the team in tackles. Had 11 tackles in his start against Virginia Tech a couple weeks ago. Of course, he was ejected in the controversial targeting call late in the Florida State game. On 2nd and goal, Peterman picked off in the end zone. Rayshon Jenkins read it all the way. Critical mistake for Peterman. He had only thrown 1 pick in his previous 5 games.
I don't think Peterman even saw it. And then when he finally saw his receiver open, he just threw it late. And when you're throwing it late, rolling out to that side, the ball has a tendency to hang. And as you see here on the replay, the ball hung in the air.
And Connor is on the side of the screen saying, why didn't you throw it to me?
Well, Connor, he wasn't open because even if he would have caught it, it would not have been a touchdown. At least it would not have been an interception. But Rayshawn Jenkins did a nice job of knowing that he was beat and he just undercut the route.
Second turnover of the game for Pittsburgh. Second turnover this quarter for Pittsburgh. Fake the give to Walton. And Kaya didn't see what he wanted, just slings it to the sideline. Takes a pretty big hit there from James Folston Jr. He hasn't been dinged too many times today, which is a change of pace for him.
Yeah, and that's one of the only times that we've seen him actually go down because he was pressured.
Incomplete, intended for Njoku. And Miami's got another 3rd and long coming.
One of the keys to the game for Miami is stay on schedule, meaning every time they get a chance and opportunity to advance the ball, get it, but don't put yourself in 3rd and long situations. Now they're in a 3rd and 10, and this is exactly where they do not have a lot of success at.
Mark Richards going to use his second timeout here in the second half before this 3rd down play. I think he's getting the sense that the Pitt defensive line might be starting to figure some things out. Miami hasn't given up a sack yet, but on a 3rd and 10 play deep in your own territory, this is when the game could get away from you a little bit.
This is where the game will get away from you because this is a big 3rd down. They're on the positive, they're on the plus. Pitt is on the plus side right now going up for this 3rd down. But they know it's 3rd and 10. And it's not easy for a quarterback to sit back and just throw the ball for a 10-yard plus gain. So overall, that's the reason why Mark Richt called the timeout, because he knows it's going to take longer for his receivers to go downfield, uncover for a 10-yard opportunity.
Pat Narduzzi, his program has really picked up the tackles in the backfield. Tackles for loss, quarterback pressured. Pittsburgh entered the day 6th in the nation against the run. Miami's done a lot of damage in the air. Kaya on 3rd down, almost intercepted. That was Avonte Maddox, who was closest for the Panthers. And Brad Kaya, since he started 13 of 13, he's only hit 8 of his last 21. He started on fire.
And that's a credit to Pitt's defensive system understanding. It took them a little time to adjust, and you have to give them credit for that.
Justin Vogel, 54 yards on his last punt. This is a shorter one, and it's returnable. Quadri Henderson, 1 touchdown return on a kickoff earlier today. Taken down in Miami territory at the 41-yard line, a 17-yard return. Let's check on a Hardee's update from Chapel Hill. Elijah Hood from the 2 breaks a couple of tackles and plunges into the end zone for North Carolina. Late in the 3rd quarter, the Tar Heels by a couple touchdowns over the Yellow Jackets. That UNC team has got a lot of talent and skill players.
Yeah, they do. And when you look at Elijah Hood, they have a nice 1-2 combination of backs up there. Elijah Hood is the bruiser in between the tackles, and he can take it the distance.
Darren Hall is the running back, and he's got space. First carry of the game for Hall, and he'll go 13 yards before Redwine brings him down.
They did a nice job up front by creating the movement on the right side, and it really put Michael Pickney in a bind. That's the reason why you saw him late reacting to the cutback run, and that was schemed out nicely to create some good yardage.
Hall stays in there. Up the middle. Hall lowering the shoulders. And it's Redwine again who brings him down. He ran for 13 last time, 14 this time.
I like what Pitt is doing. I just think from the sweep, Chad Thomas, the defensive end, he got upfield, and that's the reason why he could not make that play.
Peterman over the head of Weah. Again, looking in the area of Sheldrick Redwine. Darren Hall, so far this season, just 82 yards, 21 carries in 8 games. He's from Youngstown, Ohio, but his father, Darren Hall's dad, is a huge Steelers fan, so he was first visiting Pitt in the cafeteria. Guess who walked in? It was none other than Mike Tomlin, the coach of the Steelers, and that got them very excited about coming to Pittsburgh.
It wasn't a choice after that.
Mike Tomlin's a captivating presence. Peterman on the option, takes it himself, and it will be 3rd down and about 8 to go from the 13-yard line coming up.
This is a crucial 3rd down right here. Even though it's 3rd and 8, Pitt has to understand we have time on our side. We have enough time, and it's only the 3rd quarter, so do not get greedy and try to force something like last time, because the last thing you want is another turnover in the red zone.
2 turnovers already in the corner. The Henderson fumble, the Peterson interception. Pittsburgh right back in the red zone. Peterman under pressure, taken down in the backfield. Trent Harris with his 3rd sack of the year.
Manny Diaz went deep into his bag of tricks on this one. He wanted to force the issue. He believed in his DBs. He came with a double A-gap blitz. Had the nose tackle to drop out as a spy. And that's the reason why Peterman didn't have an opportunity to go and scan the field all the way across.
12-yard loss. Makes it a 4th and 21. And it makes it a 43-yard field goal attempt from Blewett. And Blewett missed it. Wide to the left.
If you're Miami defense right now, you got to be feeling pretty good about yourself. Because even though you allowed them to get in that area, the red zone area, by your mistakes, you still walked away without giving up any points. And that's big time. Now, if you're Pittsburgh, on the other hand, frustration is starting to set in. I'm pretty sure they are very well aware that this Miami defense, 6 of their last 8 opponents who they've played against have been held down to 21 points or less. And right now, Pitt has 21 points.
The senior Blewett had made 8 of his last 9 field goal attempts, but doinking one from 43. Miami back on offense. They went 3 and out in their last possession after the end zone interception. And there's Stacy Coley with another catch. Coley having a big day. He was coached in high school by former Miami Hurricane Donnell Bennett. A handoff goes to Yearby. And in the backfield, James Folston Jr. and Jeremiah Taleni preventing positive yardage. So it will be another 3rd down.
Pitt defensive line and their linebackers is showing a lot of grit and grind right now because they realize it's important. We got to get off the field. Big 3rd down coming up right here.
3rd and 4. Miami's now 4 of 9 on 3rd down. Now 5 for 10. Braxton Berrios, the 7th target for Kaya in the game.
I talked to their coaches, and I wanted to know what makes Braxton Berrios so good. His ability to understand every position regardless of wherever you may put him. He can play slot, he can play on the X, he can play the Z. He knows every position.
They understandably praise his intelligence. The worst grade he's had in college is an A-. Kaya, nice vision to create some more time for himself, and he connects with Njoku. Sean Idowu with the stop after a 8-yard gain.
Kaya showed us a little bit of elusiveness right there because he understood he had to buy time to find someone open. He dodged the rush. His offensive line is fighting well. Nice job by Kaya.
It feels like we've seen Kaya move more today than he really has all season.
Yeah, and it's due to the fact that his offensive line is playing well.
Oh, he gets drilled that time. The pressure from Salim Brightwell from the perimeter. And the quick incompletion. Nobody picked up the outside linebacker from New Jersey, Brightwell.
Joe Yearby, he has to come across, and that's a protection issue with your running backs understanding which way the offensive line is sliding. And if they're sliding to you, that means you're responsible for the end man of the line of scrimmage on the other side. Joe Yearby didn't get across in time.
So on 3rd and short, Gus Edwards, Gus the Bus, they call him, back into the game. The big back will get the handoff and take the first down across midfield. Quentin Wirginis got the ankles from behind. That might be the last play of the quarter.
Gus Edwards is a big back now, 6'1", 230 pounds. I put him in the same sentence when you talk about big backs and stature as far as him and James Conner. As a defensive guy, when you see guys coming at you that way, you have to make a business decision, and you really show your commitment to showing how well you want to stop the run.
Miami wins the 3rd quarter. Pittsburgh with 2 turnovers and a missed field. Lottery.org. What stands out to Keo?
Well, you look at the red zone scores, 5 for 5, but the 2 turnovers in the 3rd quarter through 3 quarters, and they scored a touchdown off of that. That stands out big time.
1st and 10, Kaya looking long. Richards read it perfectly. Down at the 9-yard line, Amon Richards. 38-yard gain to start the quarter.
The coaches are very high off of this young talent. True freshman Amon Richards had the opportunity to go to Alabama, but he turned it down because he wanted to be a Hurricane.
Talking about trust, Kaya just threw that up there and trusted Richards to read it. He did. Edwards takes it down to the 5 on 1st and goal. One thing to note from a Pitt defensive perspective, Juan Price, their anchor, their captain, does not have a tackle yet in the game.
And even though he's not known for making a lot of tackles, he wants to get to the quarterback, but they've done a great job of neutralizing him, understanding we can't allow him to get going.
Edwards again, hit this time at the line. Sean Idowu awarded a scholarship this past August after coming to Pittsburgh as a walk-on, winning the job at outside linebacker. And well, it's a pretty big 3rd and goal here, a field goal, and it's still a 2-possession game. Kaya looking for his 3rd touchdown pass and his 4th touchdown overall. That ball was caught, but it's going to be interference.
Pass interference. Defense, number 15. Penalty is declined.
It will be a touchdown for Miami.
David Njoku, Kaya just wanted to find a matchup. And I'm pretty sure they're going to watch this play again because I'm not sure if he stayed in bounds. It looks like he stepped out of bounds before he caught the ball.
They're going to look at it. If it stands, it's the 4th touchdown pass of the day. Remember, Kaya ran for 1, too. Not sure if he can beat Lamar Jackson for ACC Player of the Week, but that's a discussion for another time. Did he stay in bounds? It was really close whether his heel hit the white paint.
But it can't see it from this side.
And the rule is, Takeo, if any part of... Oh, take a quick look, nothing to overturn it. And it's the 2nd touchdown of the day for the junior, David Njoku.
They've raved about David Njoku's talents. Talking with one of the coaches, they say he's a freak. He can do everything.
He has that next level look about him. Badgley tacks on the extra point. Miami's got its largest lead of the day. It was set up on the long pass to Richards. And then to the end zone for Njoku. Miami by 20 on the ACC network.
Mellow mushroom.
Skyline here in sunny South Florida. Good news for the Hurricanes. They lead by 20 in the fourth quarter with 13:38 to go. And David Njoku with his second touchdown catch. The best news for Miami might be the fact that David Njoku has a younger brother named Evidence Njoku, who's also committed to come to Miami as a receiver. Another 6'4" Njoku, perhaps on his way to Florida. Let's take a look at what you, the fans, are saying in the Mellow Mushroom Tweetsa. And Aldo Carlo 13. Brett Kaya has been fantastic today against a really good defense. A win away from bowl eligibility if the Hurricanes can close this one out. And really also true, TV Sports Girl all over the fact that the weather has been wild, almost as wild as the game. By the way, Mellow Mushroom wants to give each of these fans $100 in pizza. Congrats, and look out for a Twitter message to claim your pizza. Have a little cosmic karma, perhaps. Peterman looking to get something going, and he's got a wide open man. Weah was uncovered, and he's going to go 75 yards for the touchdown.
Wow. 75-yard touchdown, Nathan Peterman. It looks as if he was getting ready to throw the ball in the flat because he was used to being pressured throughout the day, but his patience allowed him to scan the field and at the last minute look and see Justin Weah for the wide open touchdown.
How about that? Not only did they need a score, but a quick score was preferable. And they get that quick score in 11 seconds.
If I'm one of the defensive backs from Miami, I would reconsider walking to the sideline knowing Manny Diaz is over there.
Extra point makes it a 13-point game again with 13:27 to go. This game is far from over, folks. Peterman with a touchdown pass. Takeo Spikes, what happened on this last play?
Well, you look at the cornerback who's aligned over the wide receiver and the safety over the top. To me, it looks as if they're playing a cover 2 concept or the lack thereof, and simple miscommunication. And we talked about it earlier, Evan. When you want to become a good football team, when you're used to being known as a team who does not communicate, becoming a bad team, then that's the only way you're going to get out of this hole. You have to do the little things right. Simple little communication errors can't cost good football teams 7 points.
Pittsburgh kicking it deep, trailing by 13. It'll be a touchback, 1st and 10 from the 25 for Miami. Our 1st and 10 line is brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery, celebrating 10 years and over $4.5 billion raised for education. First down line will be at the 35 for Brad Kaya. His father was really important to his development as a quarterback. He got him a quarterback coach when he was young. His father was a crew athlete. He rode at UC Davis, and his father was a big Bradshaw and Stabler fan. See aspects of lots of different quarterbacks in the way Kaya throws the ball. Setting up the screen to Walton. And he's pushed out of bounds by Folston Jr.
I tell you what, this drive will really tell a lot about both football teams. We will see if Miami has the killer instinct. Regardless of whatever may happen, everything does not go according to plan, but can they have the killer instinct and kill the mosquito with the axe, with their focus? Or can Pittsburgh say, you know what, we don't give up, we're full of grit and grind, and we're going to find a way to turn the football over and get it back to our offense?
Not much of a gain on 1st down. There will be some positive yards on 2nd down. It's Richards, who's had a really big day, already over 100 yards receiving. Big play threat taken down by Idowu. And this will set up a 3rd and 2.
Ahmmon Richards has had a very big day as a freshman coming in. Their wide receivers coach, Coach Ron Dugans, he talked about this was a guy who had a lot of potential to not only be an All-American on this level, but may even have an opportunity to play on the next level if he continues to progress.
Kaya, incomplete. The drop for Njoku. Miami's mistakes have opened the door wide open for Pittsburgh here.
Wide open, and we talked about, can you have that killer mentality, the killer instinct? That should have been a catch.
Yep.
First down for Miami, keeping the clock moving. Now Pitt is going to get the football.
Always dangerous when Henderson's back there. Vogel's kick, returnable. But the fair catch called for at the 24-yard line. Pittsburgh has it back, trailing by 13.
Whenever the moment strikes,
Some critical mistakes have let Pittsburgh back in it. It was a 20-point game. Now it's back to 13. Pittsburgh's got the ball. We'll see what Nathan Peterman and the offense for the Panthers can do here. I wonder if Matt Canada has anything creative here in the 4th quarter dialed up for us. Offensive coordinator for Pittsburgh calling the plays. Peterman with a pump fake. He's been dangerous on the run today. This time he'll just throw it away. Shaq Quarterman with the quarterback pressure. You know, Miami has so many young players. We talk about how hard it is to learn to win. That has been the problem for Miami. They've been in. I mean, even the Virginia Tech game, they were driving to make it a 1-possession game late, couldn't punch it in. Miami has figured out ways to shoot themselves in the foot over and over again.
Winning is a habit.
Yep.
Unfortunately, so is losing. And so that's the reason why Coach Rick came to this school to install those winning ways, brought in several coaches who understand that.
That pass doesn't have the distance to reach Dantes Ford. And it will be 3rd down. Mark Rick returning to his alma mater where he backed up Jim Kelly for Coach Howard Schnellenberger, who was the offensive coordinator for the undefeated 1972 Dolphins before he became the head coach at Miami. And much of the offense that Mark Rick has run to dial up 41 points today from those old Miami teams. Certainly the presence of Bobby Bowden in his life when he was the OC at Florida State, helping to formulate much of his offensive philosophy. We'll see what Pittsburgh's philosophy is on 3rd and 10. Peterman too far ahead of Orndorff, incomplete. Jenkins in the coverage for Miami.
Very surprising to see Nathan Peterman miss that one over the middle because he had time, and that's one of his best attributes is him being accurate. That's one of the best things that he brings to the table. He just put it out there a little too far, and Orndorff could not come down with the football.
Winslow with a boot. Berrios from the 29 to the 39. And across the 40, he'll be spotted at the 43-yard line. Here's our performance of the game, brought to you by your local Chevy dealers. And Brad Kaya already over 300 yards, the 10th time in his career at Miami, 10 times in 34 starts. He's gone over 300.
Listen, he's not stopping. He's playing a very good game as of right now. And when you look at what he's been able to do, not only scanning the field, going through his progressions, but spreading the ball around to David Njoku. Then understanding that, hey, my receiver's better than your DB. I'm going to put it up for the jump ball, trusting my guy to be able to make it, trusting his offensive line with the presence not to run out of the pocket early. He knows the scouts are watching, and he's putting up a performance.
And for the first time today, he's sacked. Miami only gave up 2 sacks their first 4 games, 18 sacks the last 4 games. And Kaya finally taken down to the backfield. Give Alan Edwards the credit.
Alan Edwards, he was relentless on that play. That's the reason why he was able to get the sack.
Here we go again with the rain. What a wacky day weather-wise here in Florida. Typical, some might say. Walton to the 45. Monte Maddox brings him down.
And I would have thought when Tyreek Jarrett went out for Pitt, I would have thought Miami would have did a little bit more of running the football, trying to take advantage of the weakness going up the middle with Pitt. It's third down now. I don't think they're going to run it because they want to get the first down.
Kaya completes the pass just shy of the marker. An interesting decision coming up here. Going to be 4th and 1 from just across midfield as Caprera tackling Herndon before the sticks.
And as you see, they're still doing that scan protection.
What do you think of the 6-yard play on a 3rd and 7?
Well, ideally you want your receiver to run up to the sticks. And that's not Kaya's fault. That's his receivers not pushing all the way, knowing where the first down marker is at.
Hunting from 4th and 1 on the Pittsburgh side of the field. Can they make it pay off? Oh, yeah. How about a 46-yard punt from the Pitt 47-yard line? And the Panthers will have it from the 1. Michael Jackson downing this to set up the Miami defense. We're back to Miami after this local break.
Fios is not cable. We're wired differently. So we wired the Wagner's house with 100...
And a new set of Continental tires. Enter today at TireProSweepstakes.com. Pittsburgh in the shadow of its own goalposts. Connor gains some breathing room to the 5.
Now, when you look at this drive, this is the biggest drive of the game for both teams.
Yep.
Because teams want to be known at the end of the day, what is our identity? For Pitt, if they're able to drive this ball 99 yards, this really solidifies their grit, their grind as far as not giving up.
They give to Connor again. You can always expect number 24 to accumulate some yards after contact. It's going to be 3rd and 2. And an injured Hurricane on the field. It's R.J. McIntosh. And he was in high school. He took a bunch of snaps at quarterback. He was a good basketball player with his size, 6'4", an explosive defensive lineman who's added a good bit of weight to him at Miami. And he would be a significant loss if he can't keep going, especially on a play like 3rd and 2.
No doubt about it. That's the reason why you want to have these big type of guys in the middle. He does a lot for this type of defense.
Well, Manny Diaz in his first year at Miami, joining Mark Richt's staff. Manny Diaz at Mississippi State last year. In the middle of your screen, you can see McIntosh.
Yeah, it looks as if the offensive linemen, they were just trying to cut down on the backside, and he may have tweaked his ankle. That's the reason why he's hobbling off. But his presence is needed more than ever right now.
Most important drive of the game. Perhaps that's the most important play of the game. And on 3rd and 2, Connor does not get what he needs. Zach McLeod, the freshman backer.
Zach McLeod looked as if he was shot out of a cannon. You talk about a form tackle, and this is against James Conner.
Oh, I know you're at your own 10-yard line, but with 8:30 to go, you need 1 yard to keep the ball. The punting unit is on the field, and Winslow sends it away. Fair catch called for by Berrios. Miami ball just across midfield in plus territory at the 48. Pittsburgh Well, they've made a bunch of mistakes today, especially in the third quarter, that have been costly.
The fake punt didn't work out. Turned the ball over on downs. And then the gang tackle by Kendrick Norton knocked the football out. Another turnover. And then a costly turnover in the red zone. Interception. Nathan Peterman trying to force it. And then the missed field goal opportunity. It hit the upright. And they had a lot of opportunities to really get back in this ball game and make the score a lot closer than what it is now. But you can't cry over spilled milk. Now you have to go out here and man up defensively.
Quick pass, Coley adjusting to catch it, and a short gain. I mean, you think about that third quarter. Miami got a quick touchdown after the Pitt fumble. And then it looked like Pitt was going to score a touchdown, but it was picked off in the end zone by Carter. And then the next possession, a missed field goal. I mean, all those either-or situations, Miami getting points, Pitt losing points. And that's why Miami's up by 13 in a game that feels incredibly competitive.
And this is a prime example. At the end of the day, when you go back and you look at your team's performance, you want to know who took advantage of the opportunities that were presented. Miami has did that so far today.
Kaya throwing again, complete. Richards adding to his big day. Hamlin finally takes him down after a 16-yard game. Richards at 144 yards receiving on 8 catches.
He's pretty much having his way out there today. And it's been spread around pretty much throughout the game. DeMar Hamlin, the true freshman who they pulled the red shirt off because of injuries to their other defensive backs, they knew that he's going to have his growing pains. They knew that he was going to struggle. But they gave him a vote of confidence, telling him that we're going to stay with you and your best football will be played ahead of you as you continue to progress.
It's Yearby. Oh, breaking from tacklers. He might have broken 3 tackles on that 5-yard run.
That's the 1-2 punch that I like. Yearby and Mark Walton.
Mark Richt has certainly gotten the running game back in groove after the past 4 weeks when they only averaged about 65 yards a game, about 2 yards a carry during the 4-game losing streak.
And a lot of that is due to Miami not being in a position to where they have to throw the ball early in the game because they're down.
2nd and 5. Yearby breaks free. He was one more broken tackle away from the end zone. Jordan Whitehead by the shoelaces.
We talked about the injuries that happened to Shakir Soto and also Tyreek Jarrett. Tyreek Jarrett, he's out. But now you're seeing Miami taking advantage of the strength of what Pitt does so well, and that's defending the run.
Our 1st and 10 line brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery, celebrating 10 years and over $4.5 billion raised for education. Miami's running game only averaging about 4 yards a carry, 29 rushes, 114 yards. They've established it, though, and that's been the key. Not much on that down. Salim Brightwell has made an impact as a reserve outside backer today.
Spent a lot of tackles to go around on that Pitt's defense. Because Miami, yeah, they're running the football effectively. Whenever you can average over 4 yards a carry or 4 yards a carry, that's somewhat demoralizing to a defense.
Yep.
Because that means they can control the time of possession. And you're not giving your offense a chance to go back out there and get into a rhythm.
Under 5 minutes we go in the 4th quarter. Miami 41, Pittsburgh 28. Quick toss, earned it. And the referee rules that he's still in bounds, and that's good for Miami as the clock will keep ticking. Quickly, let's head down to the field for Amanda with a quick injury update.
Thanks, 7, you saw McIntosh come off the field slowly with an ankle injury. I talked to the trainer. He said he just rolled his ankle. They taped him up, and he should be back on the field soon.
That's good news for Miami.
Definitely good news. Coach Manny Diaz talks about, I like to have a one-gap defense to where our defensive linemen are great penetrators.
And the Hurricanes, before this third down, using their final timeout in the second half.
30-second timeout.
Mark Richt, in his coaching career, he's never lost 5 straight games. That's on the line today. Looking for his 150th career win as a head coach. Take a look at our Haviland Player of the Week. What a game Justin Thomas had last Saturday against Duke. You see the 264 yards passing, almost 200 yards rushing, 3rd highest total in Georgia Tech history. What stands out to you about Justin Thomas's game, Shaquille?
I think he's become a better passer as time came along. And people, when you play Georgia Tech, everybody comes in under the presumption that, hey, they're going to run the old-time option. They're going to continue to do this. No receivers, no quarterback. But slowly but surely, Justin Thomas is changing that perception because when they have to throw the ball, he's very efficient at throwing.
It's a safe bet there'll be a new Haviland Player of the Week next week. Justin Thomas's Yellow Jackets lost in Chapel Hill today, 48-20. On 3rd down, the give to Yearby, leapfrogging one defender. He's stopped at the 8-yard line, but 4 yards shy of the first. Miami will presumably try a field goal to stretch the lead to 16.
Everybody's been talking about how bad the offensive line from Miami, they can't protect. They've done a very nice job today. But even in the run game, well over 100 yards rushing total for this football team, and that allowed them to be able to control the clock and continue to keep drives going.
25-yard try for Badgley. Both number 15s have had good afternoons. Brad Kaya and his roommate, who happens to wear the same number. They're not allowed to be on the field at the same time, but that's okay for Mark Richt.
Yeah, that's okay, because at least you have, the best thing about that, at least you have a chance to score with both 15s on the field.
They put up a lot of points today. Kaya, 5 touchdowns and a bunch of field goals for Badgley. Our Duluth Trading Company hardest working player today. Who else? Amon Richards. This freshman is going to have a bunch of special games like this. He's closing in on Reggie Wayne's freshman numbers at Miami. And a couple more games like this, he'll pass Michael Irvin on the Miami freshman leaders.
The thing what stands out to me is the 18 yards per reception. That means he is a home run hitter every time he catches the football. And the scouting report scares DBs when they see that coming to play the Hurricanes for the next week.
This time a yard deep. Henderson will come out and he'll go nowhere. Taken down at the 10 by Jeff James Jr.
Great coverage. And this is very hard. Quadre Henderson is very rarely tackled by one guy. But I tell you what, the Hurricanes, they have the focus as far as exactly what they need to have in order to win this football game.
Cedric Wright, the other 38 with the stop there. Great special teams play from Miami. And now it's Peterman. He gets crunched after a 5-yard gain. Kendrick Norton, the big fella from Jacksonville, with a hit. Quick pass, Peterman almost intercepted. It's Cornelder. Cornelder's a guy that you can really trust on the outside.
He is a guy, and Manny Diaz, he talked about the maturation of where he's come from. He's turned into a leader, and the type of player that he is, he gives you everything that you have, that he has. But he's a big-time playmaker, can not only play the ball in the air, as we saw earlier tonight, today, he can come up and make big hits in the running game.
On third down, Peterman, incomplete. Orndorff could not make the catch. Peterman walking to the sidelines.
They missed out on the opportunity to keep the chains moving. You have to give a lot of credit to Miami because this was a total team effort in order to get the amount of points that they have.
Winslow's punt sending Barrios back from the 32. He'll scamper for about 5. On next Saturday, the ACC Network Game of the Week presented by Mellow Mushroom heads to Central New York. The Carrier Dome will be the site for NC State and Syracuse. Matt Day is one of the best running backs in the ACC to lead the Wolfpack against Eric Dungy's Syracuse Orange. Dungy, the conference's leading passer. Coverage of the ACC Network begins at noon with the ACC Blitz, powered by Ram Trucks. Katie Witham, Tommy Bowden, and Stan Norfleet will get you set for the Wolfpack and the Orange next Saturday.
It's going to be a big test for North Carolina State to go up there to Syracuse. I like the offensive system that Syracuse has, especially Amba Edetawu.
You just wanted to say that?
I did. Listen, I love what they're doing up there. High potent style offense, hard to stop.
Walton taken down by Brightwell. Timeout called by Pittsburgh to stop the clock with 2:33 to go. Well, a couple streaks might end today, Takio. Miami will breathe a big sense of relief if they can get the win and snap the 4-game schneid. Pittsburgh has been averaging 39.6 points per game in their last 7 games. Now, they've lost some in there. Gave up a lot of points to Oklahoma State. Gave up a lot of points in the loss to UNC, but Pittsburgh held to 28 points today. It doesn't look like they're going to get to 36. And Brad Kaya has really had a marvelous day. He's over 350 yards now.
Yeah, and as much as, we know the NFL scouts are here today to really see what type of quarterback he is. He's really shown that he can handle a pro-style type of offense, even though he's been sacked 18 times in the past 4 games. He sat in the pocket, trusted his offensive line, trust the play calling by Mark Richt, and that's the reason why he's been so productive today.
Walton stays in bounds. Whitehead brings him down. Brad Kaya was 13 for 13 in the outset today, and he really never slowed down. He also ran for a touchdown on a sneak from the 1. Pittsburgh taking a timeout to stop the clock with 2:25 to go. The New York Jets will be here at Hard Rock Stadium tomorrow. There are several scouts for the Jets with their eyes on Kaya today. Obviously, there are a lot of teams at the next level that'll be looking for quarterbacks.
Yeah, and even though quarterbacks are judged by championships and they're judged by how many wins and how well they can make other people play around them, you cannot sleep on Brad Kaya. I've played in the league a long time. I played against bad quarterbacks, and I played against good quarterbacks, and I played against great quarterbacks. He definitely has an opportunity if he continues to progress and understand what Coach Mark Richt wants. Also, Thomas Brown, the offensive coordinator, he's in good hands here, and I really would like to see him to continue to develop.
Kaya's gotten a lot of help today. His offensive line has only allowed 1 sack, and his running game has finally created some offense. Walton, he's still going. Touchdown. "55 yards for Mark Walton to put the game away."
I asked the coaches yesterday, what's the difference between Mark Walton and Joe Yearby? They said Mark Walton, he has the ability every time he touches the football, to not only run somebody over, but he can take it to the house for a touchdown because he's faster. And right there, not only did he show us determination, but he showed us speed, Evan. That's the type of speed I believe you have.
Right. Something like that.
Okay.
When there's a buffet, I really run quickly to that table. Badgley punches it through. The Hurricanes have put 51 on Pat Narduzzi's defense.
And that's very surprising, knowing that Pat Narduzzi's defense, they play well year in and year out.
Yep.
And we know of the struggles of what they had on the back end. But when Tyreek Jarrett, their defensive tackle, we keep talking about it because I think it's so relevant, him and also Shakir Soto, that really hurt what they do up front, up the middle. It made them susceptible to big runs, as you just saw right there. Give a lot of credit to the Miami Hurricanes offensive line because they have been talked about just as much as Pitt's secondary. And I was always told as a player, you got to put up a setup. When it's time to come out and play, make people shut up talking about you. And they did that today.
The last time Miami lost 5 games in a row was back in 1977, the first year of Lou Saban's brief tenure. There's been some rumors that he might be a distant cousin of Nick, but no direct relation to the great Alabama coach. And well, Lou Saban won 9 games in a couple of years at Miami. He did recruit a young quarterback named Jim Kelly, who Mark Richt backed up for a bunch of years here in Florida. This Miami team's going to get back above 500. They get to 2-3 in the ACC, and they have a very manageable schedule down the stretch, Takeo. The Hurricanes do.
Very favorable schedule that I really think can help them not only get to a bowl game to become bowl eligible, but get to a better bowl in their positioning.
Down goes Peterman. Miami's bench really fired up. Next 2 on the road for the Hurricanes as the flag flies.
And
5-yard penalty, second down.
Miami's at Virginia, 2 o'clock next week. Then at NC State, and then home for Duke. It's funny, those are 3 games. They're not gimmies by any means, but they're all winnable. I mean, they could go 3-0, they could go 0-3.
They really could. And when you saw the pictures of the bench, our coaches used to tell us that's a direct reflection of how engaged you are in the football game.
Peterman should have been picked off. Redwine was there, went right through the arms of 22. Flag down on the play.
Holding, number 78, offense, 10-yard penalty.
But it goes to show you on the defensive side, when you see this bench and they're having a good time, smiling, jumping around as you see guys are doing now, they understand the work, the amount of work that goes into coming out here. You're grinding 6 days a week, and you only have 1 day to show everybody what you've been doing in private. You get a chance for that 1 day to show what you've been doing in public.
The offense put on a show today. The defense, too, for that matter, holding Pittsburgh to 28. Not too many teams have done that this year. Olesen brought down by Moat. Let's get the feeling that the 55-yard run for Walton was the TKO punch that just knocked him out.
Yeah, it did. It did. And as you see, everybody is flying around to the football.
Dantes Ford shy of the first down.
Sheldrick, Redwine is being busy. Mark Richt.
Landmark win for Mark Richt. He's been waiting a while for it, about a month, but he won 145 games in 15 years at Georgia. And you get the sense he could be here for a long time because he loves to coach football.
Yeah, he loves to coach football, and what makes it even better, he played here. He is a Cane true at heart.
And that pass tipped by Darian Owens, incomplete. And we are 2 kneels of the football away from Miami, snapping its 4-game losing streak.
Darian Owens had an opportunity to get his name in the paper, but now they'll get his opportunity to get his name put on the board with everybody joking with him in the meeting room.
Miami's going to take a couple of knees here. The big story is that they've been able to shut down Juan Price.
And that was their objective coming into this game. They knew if you have an opportunity to block him, if he flashes in front of your face, look at the attention he's getting. 2 guys are on him. They helped out with the tight end right there, even the backs with Herndon. And they made sure that they latched on to Price, because it's not by accident this guy is the second leading sack leader in the country.
Well, you got Bill Belichick cutting off the sleeves of the sweatshirt, Juan Price cutting off the excess pant leg. But Mark Richt got to feel really good. They're going to win at 51-28. Pittsburgh, well, I don't have very good news for Pat Narduzzi, because they're now 5-4, headed to Death Valley to face the Clemson Tigers next Saturday.
Yeah, and it's an uphill battle. They know and understand that, hey, we have to get to 6 wins to become bowl eligible. But when you're going to Death Valley next week, it's going to make it that much harder to accomplish your goal, at least to become bowl eligible.
They wanted to play hurricane football, and they did that today in the rainy conditions. There was on and off downpours throughout the afternoon. Miami tabulates 534 yards of offense and wins it by a final of 51-28. For Takeo Spikes, this is Evan Lepler saying so long from Miami. You've been watching coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference football on the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports.